Hello everybody, RMJ Movie Reviews back again. Today with kind of a movie review, not kind of a movie review of Dumb and Dumber 2. I'm not gonna go through the whole story of Dumb and Dumber 2. It's pretty much very similar, not even very similar. This movie is an exact carbon copy of the original Dumb and Dumber. Give you a little bit of perspective. I saw the original Dumb and Dumber at the theater. I grew up. Matter of fact, that movie came out when I was 13 years old. So that was, that's 20 years ago. Because I'm 33 now, and I was a childhood fan of Jim Carrey. I have a whole lot of In Living Color episodes on VHS tape, and I loved Fire Marshal Bill, and Ace Ventura was funny and all of that. I think that this is a prime example of you cannot, in my opinion, you cannot wait this long to make a sequel. If I could make any comparison, I'd say the original Dumb and Dumber was like the Chinatown of comedies of the 90s, you know what I mean? Or Casino Royale, Dumb and Dumber 2 is the Two Jakes or Quantum of Solace. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just, this was a painful movie to sit through. A lot of the humor to me just felt forced. I kind of agree with a lot of the other reviewers on YouTube where I just lightly chuckled. And I honestly didn't think really the movie was that funny. It was painful to sit through. It just the humor felt forced. Jim Carrey was really rusty. I mean, when I watched the first Dumb and Dumber, I feel like they're playing characters. You know what I mean? They're playing just dumb characters. In this one, to me, it felt like actors. In this one, they didn't feel like the characters to me. It just felt like the actors trying to remember what they did 20 years ago. It's a painful movie to sit through. There's only one gag in the movie that really made me kind of laugh out loud, and that was for you, those of you who've seen it. It involves Jeff Daniels having like the sensory things put on his head, and he has a thought about when he was a teenager, and he used a giant spoonful of peanut butter, and he put the peanut butter on his Johnson piece, and then you see the dog walk into the room, and he goes, "Come here, boy." And Jeff Daniels makes this face, man. And when they show what the younger version of himself, the face that he made when the dog goes beneath the chair, that was the only gag that really just that killed me, man. That was hilarious. But that was the only one that made me laugh out loud. I remember when I saw the, and maybe it's a different in my age now, you know what I mean? Because when I saw the first one, there was at least 4 or 5 gags that made me just laugh out loud in the first one. In this one, that was the only one that really made me laugh out loud, was the dog and the peanut butter. And then there was kind of a funny thing where this cat like ate the blind boy's birds, the boy from the first one, where Jim Carrey put the tennis ball as a fake bird. In this one, this homeless cat that they have kills all his birds, and then the cat farted and dust came out his ass. I'm sorry, feathers came out his ass. That was funny, but it wasn't laugh out loud funny. But this was really just a sad sequel. Jim Carrey was really rusty. Like there was some parts in the beginning of the movie where he was kind of I don't know if he was playing the character, but it just really felt so forced. Like he'd be like, "Yo, did you laugh?" And he'd do like this laugh, and I would kind of be watching it like, is he like performing for real? Like what is he doing? And I couldn't I don't know. I just thought, in my opinion, I thought as the movie went along, I thought Jim Carrey he seemed to kind of get back into the character a little bit, and it felt a little bit more seamless with the first movie. But really, the first and second act of the movie, I mean, I'm really not kidding y'all. I mean, Jim Carrey was so rusty in this movie. I mean, I wasn't sure if he was doing a parody of what he did in the first film, because in the first film he really felt like he was this dumb, obnoxious character. But in this one, it felt like he was almost making fun of his performance. Kind of like when Mark Paul Glossary made an appearance on, I don't know, it was Jimmy Kimmel or one of them, where he pretended to be Jack Morrison from Saved by the Bell. And Mark Paul Glossary was kind of pumping it up like, "Hi, my name's Zach." And he had on the stonewashed jeans and the big tennis shoes and the bleach blonde hair. But you could clearly see he was making a parody of that character he played on Saved by the Bell. That's almost what I felt like Jim Carrey was doing here in this movie. I mean, the only person who I really, as far as it's between the two leads, Jeff Daniels was totally on point. Jeff Daniels, it felt just seamless between the way he played it in the first one, even though Jeff Daniels is in his 60s now. I think Jim Carrey is in his 50s. But Jeff Daniels was totally on point. I thought Jeff Daniels played the character exactly the same way he played in the first one. Jim Carrey, I don't know what was going on there. I don't know what was going on. It was, I mean, I hate to say this, it pains me to say it, but Jim Carrey was really terrible in this movie. In my opinion, I thought he was. I really thought Jim Carrey was terrible in this movie, man. And I just didn't really like most of the jokes. I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was a painful movie to sit through, man. It felt long. I don't know how long it is. Maybe the movie's only an hour and 40 minutes or an hour and 35. But damn, this movie felt like it was The Dark Knight Rises, man. It felt so long, and I wanted to like this movie so bad. I really wanted to see something that was hilarious, but it was painful, man. It was so painful to sit through. You cannot wait this long to make a sequel like this. This movie should have been made back in, I'd say, 1997. You know, or maybe 96, 97 is when this movie should have came out. You know, but you can't wait too long. I don't know if it's that. And I can't remember. I have to go back and watch the first one again. I can't remember. I think the Farley brothers strictly wrote the original one. I can't remember because I haven't seen the first one in a while. But I was looking at the credits at the end, and to put it in perspective, at the end they have like screenshots of this movie and the original one, and they play them side by side. And really, you can see the difference in quality. You can literally look at the first one and then the screenshots of the second one, and they feel like two totally different movies. And I don't know, man. It's a painful. I think this is a lesson to even people who like Jim Carrey, you know, which I know at the time he wanted to be Mr. Serious Actor and all of that. But I think this is a prime example of you have to do, as an entertainer, you have to do two types of films. You have to do one for the audience and one for yourself. So I think that's what Jim Carrey should have did at that time. Is Jim Carrey should have, you know, did his little acting character thingy, and then he should have did Dumb and Dumber 2 way back in the day and switch back and forth between the two. One for us, one for you. You know, Danny Glover, as I recall, I remember reading something where Danny Glover wasn't crazy about doing Lethal Weapon 2 at the time, but you know, he did Lethal Weapon 2, and he used that money to fund, I think it was an independent movie called To Sleep with Anger. So that's the way you play it as an entertainer. You do one for us, and then you do one for you. I don't know. Dumb and Dumber 2, just terrible. Terrible, painful to sit through. I didn't like it. It's a painful swan song to the original. I don't recommend it. If you're die hard Farley Brother fans, maybe you should go see it, but painful. I don't know. I'm a little bit late with this review because the movie is like already, I think the movie is already bombing. It's not in the top 5 anymore, I don't think. So anybody who's seen the film, you can kind of put on my page what you felt about it. I kind of agree with the people who didn't. I didn't like the film at all. It was just hard to sit through. The only thing I liked about it was it had a couple hot chicks in it. Some of the gags made me chuckle. I mean, if anything, the movie just made me feel depressed. And then when Kathleen Turner popped up, which I didn't even realize was Kathleen Turner from Romancing the Stone and Jewel of the Nile, War of the Roses, it made me feel even more depressed. So, because that, oh God, I remember when I was 10 and I saw that woman in VR Rosowski. She was a beautiful woman. I did not realize that was Kathleen Turner. But either way, people, that's my review of Dumb and Dumber 2. As you can tell from my attitude, I just feel depressed. I want to go to sleep. That was a painful movie to watch. I really just RMJ movie reviews. I'll be back with my retro review of Passenger 57. Oh God. Have a nice afternoon, guys.